How's it going, everyone? It is Monday, August 19th, 2024. Let's look at the picks from yesterday's video. I gave a day trade long on PDD, and I also gave a short-term swing long on Nike. So let's look at PDD. Yesterday, it had this breakout right here at 1240. We got in somewhere around here, around 1240, 1250. Broke out over here, took some partial profits on this long green candle, and then was watching out over here. And then I ended up scratching out of the trade, or the remaining one half of the trade as it was pulling back. I think it still looks good on a swing basis. It's still continuing up. You can see how it broke to the high of the day, got smacked down a little bit over here. So there is some back and forth fighting and selling. Stock has been moving sideways, but overall, still looking quite bullish. So nice little win in PDD. I also gave Nike as a swing short on a more shorter term time frame. Stock is doing flat right now. Yesterday, it had a nice move here, pullback, kind of tested the bid here, and now I just pulled back again, tested this level, and it's just kind of shopping around a little bit. So if I zoom out a little bit on Nike, you can see that it has made a pretty big move. So we're just kind of digesting, I think, some of those gains. If we are able to break through this high fairly soon, and also this pullback is pretty mixed-bodied candles, that will be a very, very nice sign that Nike is going to continue higher. So keep an eye on that. We have a couple of swing shorts that we are in right now. The current market environment last week was pretty bullish. This stock, ALB, has been pulling back here. There has been some sector rotation in the market as well. A lot of stocks have been rising up. So I am still mildly bearish, but I'm not as bearish as I was in the beginning of the week. I wanted to see this 50-day SMA hold. I want to see this downward sloping trend line hold. So now that we've got this breach, we were able to advance past this breach. We're pretty close to that all-time high. That tells us that, all right, buyers are, they have some say over here. So what are we looking for? Well, I want to see what this next pullback looks like. And the second thing that I am adding to my thesis that I read in Pete's comments is that he wants to see us close below the 50-day SMA this week. If we can do that this week, then it tells us that sellers or institutional sellers are very persistent in terms of getting rid of shares, in terms of unloading shares. So that's what we want to see. In terms of the outlook for this week, I'm expecting perhaps a bit of some dull action. We made a pretty nice set of gains last week. We might see some either sideways movement, a little pullback, or perhaps a deeper pullback. Now, depending on which scenario we get, that'll help us gauge on what we should do with our swing shorts. So right now, I'm leaning towards being a little more passive on the swing shorts, not looking to add unless the market really starts to get bearish very quickly. If we get a compression or a bit of a pullback, I do expect my stocks to drop. MRK is holding up. WFC is now filling in the gap. So it had made a pretty decent move this week here. It's adding to some of those gains today. Has been a nice steady grinder today as well, filling in some of that gap. So this is looking fairly weak, or is looking less weak, I should say. So right now it's looking to say, hey, on the stocks that are not performing, can I take a good loss? On the stocks that are performing, can I take a decent win? So overall, maybe I can get out, scratch out some of my positions, or, reduce a lot of the losses I get from getting the market, my market bias is changing. I had a risk here. I knew I was getting in a little bit early in these positions. They weren't performing as much. They're doing a great job. Like, for example, Qualcomm is doing a great job here. But market has just been a little bit too strong. Okay. So I mentioned that my longer term market bias fundamentally is still mildly bullish. I don't think anything has changed majorly. Technically, on a shorter term, we're mildly bearish. We had a big drop here through a lot of technical levels very, very quickly, but this bounce has been pretty tall and it has been fairly steady. I drew this upward sloping trend line here. You can see that it has a pretty steep slope and the market has been respecting that slope. So that tells us that the buying is very, very strong. So on a shorter term basis, I am bullish, maybe somewhere between either a 1 or a 2 bullish. We made a pretty nice move. I think that one of the main clues is that we would gap up, we would test a bit and then advance higher, right? So here's a gap up and then we'd go, gap up and then we'd go, continue, 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 and then we'd have some sideways motions for a while. So not a lot of super deep retracements. We just move up here, go flat, move up, go flat, move up, go flat, and so on. Intraday, we're taking a look at this chart over here. Market had a small gap up, compressed for a while. We had a poke into the gap, tried to fill it in, or I guess we did fill it in, and then we got a very strong response very quickly on this poke. So what does that tell us? Well, these past couple of days, the market has been having these bid checks early in the day. So here's a gap down, buyers come in, sellers come in again. We get this high or low, and then we start to rally up higher. Same thing if here, market pulls back, finds support, and then we rally up higher again, right? Gap up, check, check, rally up, right? Bid check, rally up, second bid check. And this is a bit of a dead day. There's the SMA in the way. Gap up, test the bid, rally up. So we have this bid check pretty early in the day, and that's what happened today as well. So I think for me that my plan was on this bid check, find stocks that are holding up well, and then enter those stocks as the market starts to find some support and the stocks start to lift off. Now, once we get the breakout, the market kind of stalls a little bit, pulls back, and then on that pullback, that's when we get the springboard to the next level. So it's a bit stair-step, classic bullish pattern. 3 steps up, 2 steps back. When we get the breakout, you don't want to be getting in on the breakout. This is kind of retail coming in, pushing that price a little bit higher. When we get the little pullback over here, institutions flush it down, buy a little bit of a bid, and then we get that next leg higher. So today it's been a light volume bullish drift higher, like I've been saying, 3 steps up, 2 steps down. How can we take advantage of this? Well, there's a couple of day trades you can take. I've tagged a couple of positions here. If we look at my tags, MCD is doing pretty nicely. Nice break through this horizontal support. Some pretty good volume today. Has just been grinding up for most of the day. I like ENLC a lot as well. A little bit choppier, but broke through some horizontal downward sloping trend line right over here. Advancing up higher through the SMAs, room to the top over here. Nice head of steam. Coupang, beautiful setup. Not a ton of room, but I really like the setup on the stock. Nice move post earnings through this downward sloping trend line. We had a bit of a pullback, found some support at the AVWAP-E, breaking out of compression on a long green candle today. EBS is another one that I like as well. This stock through this downward sloping trend line again. This is a bit of a deep retracement, but I like how post earnings we're able to rally up and erase all of these gains and kind of get back on track on the stock. So EBS is pretty nice. If I did have to pick a stock, I am between. I think I might go Coupang here. That's probably going to be my pick of the day. I'm gonna get this in on a little bit of any sort of market dip here. Get in on that stock, and then I would ride it all the way over here to maybe something like 23.78. That's where this 23.74. So That's where some target is. So there's a little bit of room here, and I think a pullback would just get me slightly favorable price on that stock. So I think a CDS could work. I think some shares could also work. But yeah, Coupang as an overnight swing long. That's going to be my pick of the day. That's it for today's video. Not really going to give any sort of day trade setups over here. There's a couple of picks that you guys can go through the list. I'm just looking. These are just stocks that have grid D1s. They have some pretty decent volume, pretty good price action. And just wait for your entries on these and see what you can do on them. I'm in Halo right now. Stock has been kind of grinding up higher. Might also be a 3 steps up, 2 steps back type of stock. Okay, so that's it for today's video. Nothing too much here. Again, just keep being patient. If you're in swing shorts, don't panic out of them. Wait for your time to take the best win, and also wait for your time to take the best loss. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll take a look at how these picks did in tomorrow's video.